Hey guys, it's Edwin here, and I hope you are having a wonderful weekend. Today I'll be answering the question of why is it that sometimes you make complex, depressing narratives, depressing stories in your imaginary world. I saw this on Reddit where one daydreamer stated that they used to do amazing narratives on like Naruto or One Piece, and it was really enjoyable because they used to control their daydreaming and create characters from the real world or characters from the things they enjoy in real world, and it was really enjoyable. Yes, it was still depressing. Like after the episodes, after the daydreaming episode, it was still depressing, but the thing is at least the daydreaming was enjoyable. So when you're having positive vibes in your imaginary world, like when you're doing something which you enjoy in your imaginary world, you realize that yes, real life will still be depressing, but now at least the daydreaming will still be okay. So why is it that sometimes it gets to the point where the imaginary world is depressing? That's now the instance where you create these negative vibes or you create complex, depressing narratives, and then now at the same time, the real world is depressing. So actually, the main reason why that happens is because the more you keep daydreaming, even if it's filled with positive vibes, the more you keep daydreaming, the more you ignore stuff in the real world, and these things which you ignore in the real world, they keep piling up and piling up. Let's say you are ignoring your responsibilities, you are ignoring taking care of yourself, so of course your mental health will go down, and it will reach a point where the things you are running away from in the real world will now start seeping into the imaginary world, because it's like you are absorbing more and more darkness. So before, your imaginary world was like this source of light, like it's a place where you could control. Actually, control is a very key word here. So it was a place where you could go there and just chill, escape this real life. But now it gets to the point where the things you are escaping from start knocking. They knock, and then it's now start seeping into your imaginary world. So you end up having dark daydreams at the same time you're having dark real world. And also now this is the point where you cannot control it. Like the daydreaming now is taking over. Like it's become a habit which is now beyond your control. It's become an unconscious habit. So before it was conscious, before you could control the narratives in your head, like you could control the scenarios you are creating. But now it gets to the point where it becomes so maladaptive to the point that you can't even control the narrative. That is now what you can call the rock bottom of this behavior, which may start out as innocently acting out scenarios or innocently creating stories in your head. So the more you keep doing it, even if it has positive vibes, the more you ignore real life. So it will get to the point where your real life will be a mess and your imaginary one will still be a mess, because there is you don't have control over it, and also you don't have a frame of reference of positivity in real life, because sometimes when you're starting you still not that bad off, because you may be less depressed, you may be managing your anxiety, but because you keep running away from the anxiety, it gets to the point where you can't manage it, and now the anxiety starts seeping into your imaginary world. That's why the best time to manage your daydreaming is just when you start realizing that you are doing it too much. Not even full blown addict, no, just when you start to realizing that actually I'm doing this habit like 3 to 4 hours a day, and just be honest with yourself. That's actually the best time to manage, because you will not end up depressing yourself with your daydreaming, and then also depressing and then feeling depressed in your real world. Hope that makes sense, guys. It will start as a positive thing, will fill with positive vibes, but the more your life, the more you absorb or the more you run away from the negativities of real life, the more these negativities will seep into your imaginary world, and you'll end up having negative daydreams and negative real world, and that's now this rock bottom which you really need to avoid. But it also doesn't mean that the moment the your daydreams are filled with negative vibes, like you feel bad about yourself, like it's not possible to overcome, it's not possible to overcome. No, it is still possible to overcome, because this habit, you were not born with it. You were not born with the addiction. You were born with this aspect of having an overly imaginative personality, but you were not born with the addiction, because you also know that it started as an enjoyable thing, and then it turned out to be a miserable thing. That's where the healing is. So healing is in dealing with this disconnect, like what really happened. What did you run away from? So now processing those things. Once you process all those things, you are able to take back control of it. And when you take back control of it, you are able now to create imaginary worlds. It can be Naruto, it can be anything you enjoy, but now you'll be doing it in your own terms. That's the beauty of working on underlying issues. You take back control of your life, and you also take back control of your daydreaming. Hope you found that informative, guys. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to reach me out, comment, or book a call with me, just anything. Until next time, have a nice weekend.